Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is VChess International Master Sibashvili with you. We will start on this stream working on checkmates in 2 and 3. We have already had this series in the past, and I noticed that you had quite some recommendations. You really enjoyed a lot, tuned in into the stream as well. And a lot of you have requested to work on longer mates. So we are moving on to checkmates in 3. See how the things go. Just try to be active. Please don't be shy. Write it down whenever you have some recommendations in mind, and we can try to do it together. So a bit later, GM Arkady will be joining as well, but for now we will be starting alone. So how should we play in this situation with the black pieces? Always pay attention to the latest moves, and we see that c takes b7 was played, and we really want to make some kind of improvement on that and put things into a good perspective. So when that happens, c takes b7, especially the queen is under attack and the rook on a8 as well, we kind of need to hurry up and make a really direct threat, because if white just manages to promote to the queen, we will be in tough situation. How about we try to go for a queen c1, which is not a bad option actually at all. And after that, we deliver a check especially. And if our opponent brings the queen all the way back on d1, we have a good continuation, such as knight c2 check as well, forcing the enemy's king to go far away. On f1, we go with queen d1. Always in these situations when you see a lot of mayhem, some pieces are hanging, etc., try to choose the direction which are the most forced. That's why queen c1 makes perfect sense, and right after that, we go with knight c2, followed by queen d1. Checkmate. Next example, knight a5. All these positions are selected from actually very special positions played in an actual games. Therefore, it will be a really good kind of follow-up, because these are quite practical and you will be seeing it quite a lot in your games. Very well. How do we play in this current situation? After black plays knight a5, it's important to understand that we are down 2 pieces. But again, as I mentioned, we need checks, captures, and threats. How do we attack the enemy's king? Some of the key moves might be like queen d8 or queen e8. Both of them actually look interesting, but none of them work out that well because the king comes on b7. Always in these kind of situations, ladies and gentlemen, just try to bring the piece which actually doesn't do anything at the moment. And as we can see currently, this kind of piece is the rook on g1, which actually does nothing whatsoever. So we can try to bring it all the way to g8. But what happens next? If the king comes up, we can't really deliver a check with the rook unless we just want to give up the rook for absolutely no reason, because black will be able to capture it. But what we can try is go rook b8 check, and after king b7 try queen c8. This way, white has got mating idea that the king cannot escape on any of these squares, and white just gets the victory on spot. If rook g8 and bishop goes on f8, we can just try to capture it, and if king b7, there comes queen c8 as well. So check. And that's the reason why it's mate in 3 instead of mate in 2, because actually right after we grab it, queen c8 is going to be decisive as well. Moving on to the next example, king comes on g7 as the last move. Well, we need to figure out what to do here. It's quite important. Let's see. After king g7, do you have any special recommendations, ladies and gentlemen? What should we do in this scenario? Feel free to write it down in chat. When the king comes on g7, we're down rook, and it's time to look for some potential checks, no doubts, because if you try to kind of back off, not much is going to happen 100%. So we need to look at the moves like queen g4 or rook coming to e7. As I mentioned in the past, and I'm sure you already remember, try to use the piece which currently is not doing anything at all. The rook standing on e2 doesn't give us anything actually, so if we try to include it into the attack, it's going to be significantly better. So in case of queen g4, king can try to escape on h8 and we don't have anything with forced moves. But if we go for rook e7, that's a good option. King coming up, we have got queen g4, covering up all the key squares. If the king goes back, we have queen g4 followed by queen g7. If king f8, we're bringing the queen into the action as well. So white easily wins the game. It's important to do everything with checks, because failing to do so will result in immediate defeat. That's why we go with queen g4, a very good looking move, followed by queen g7 as well, and white wins the game on the spot. Next one. Rook takes on f7. Well, in the situations where you actually see that we're about to get mated almost immediately, it's mandatory to speed up the process and try to do something about it. Well, what exactly can we do? The mate is coming. We are not here to defend our position because we are sharpening our skills in improvement of the pieces, maneuvering them, and so on. So the best possible continuation in this case is to go with queen, getting closer to enemy's king on e1. We can try to look for some other opportunities as well, but not the best option, especially if we can start with the check. After that, where does the king go? The bishop protects the knight really well and also covers up the key square on g2. So after king, queen e1, king can go on h2. At the moment we are going to include queen g3. It's going to be a check and mate at the same time, thanks to the knight supporting our queen, and the knight is defended by the bishop. It's a bit weird sequence, but it works. That's why we don't mind it at all. So if we go after rook f7, queen e1, king h2 is not the only possible option. There are some other ideas as well. If, let's say, rook goes on f1, we can play queen g3 check. This time, white already has one move, rook g2, which leads to queen g2, checkmate on the board. So you must go for it, go for a queen g3, and right after rook g2, we can take it. And I believe that's relatively easy victory. Next example. C takes b4. How should we play in this situation? Well, after c takes b4, this is, I would say, quite common idea. I've had it in my games quite a lot and used it successfully as well, and I'm happy about it. So the best possible continuation here for white is to play knight e7 check. And whenever we go for knight e7 check, black's king is forced to go on h8. And you might ask, okay, but what's the sequence of the moves? We can do that, but king goes on h8. What's a good follow-up? Actually, we've got a really nice continuation, because right after this check, and the enemy's king goes on h8, and you see that the king can't escape and go on to g8 square. White has got a beautiful motif, rook takes h7. And when the king takes back, we have rook h1 coming, and the king cannot escape anywhere. It's a beautiful combination, covering up all the key squares and not letting your opponent to move around, and white just wins the game without tons of difficulties. Next example. Anyone in the chat who can guess it? Just curious if someone wants to tune in. Feel free, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of the position might be difficult. For some of you, it might be extremely easy. Just want to make sure that you are doing things appropriately. So what should we do? What's the best possible approach? Well, the king on h6, the knight is well guarded on h5, covering up the g7 rook as well. So we kind of need to seize the momentum. If we try to go for the move like, let's say rook d6 check, because that's the only possible check at the moment, more or less logical one, I'm saying, we're dropping the knight on h5. So that might not be the best possible shot. Do we have some other moves? Knight going away doesn't lead to anywhere. The king is just attacking the rook. And usually you would like to hurry up in these occasions, because if it's mate in 3 and you make some move like h3, g3, or any of these passive approaches, your opponent will immediately go for rook c2 check, at least, or knight c3, whatever, just to waste your time and not let you escape from it. That's it. No other major reason. So after king h6, white has got this beautiful motif, rook d6. Rook is guarded, so only way to go is king h5, but you might just already have spider senses, realizing that the king on h5 doesn't necessarily look that great, and we might just do something immediate. So let's say rook d6, king comes on h5, and we've got this amazing shot g4, attacking the king and going for rook h6 at the same time. I actually don't see what black can do right after that. So we go for this check, and after king h5, let's go for g4 check as well. And when the king comes down, we've got rook h6. Black is out of moves and no good continuation anymore. It's done. White wins the game. Next one, rook d2. Well, our opponent just grabbed our queen, so we can't just be silent and let them get through it. It's important to, do something immediate. And we should pay attention to the latest move, that the rook actually left the 8th rank and went to d2. So we should try to use the back rank issues. Rook going on b8 is a good approach. Always pay attention. If you see this rank really empty and you have the opportunity to bring the pieces closer, that should be quite a dangerous threat. So white plays rook b8, and right after bishop d8, we can take it back with the rook, and in case of rook d8, we can take rook d8, and white gets the checkmate on the board. So yes, always pay attention to this kind of motifs. Don't just grab on d2 carelessly and leaving the back rank unguarded. That's going to be quite devastating. Believe me, I've had it in my own games, and I regret it a lot. It's back rank issues. You really want to play somewhere like h6 or g6. Make sure you are safe. Nothing is coming after your king, and the rest will be okay. All right, before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click the like on the live stream, and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's a new channel, and we are trying to improve as soon as possible and go to a wider audience. Your support will be highly appreciated. Next example, we have rook takes on e1. White has got a couple of interesting options, especially right after we have the attack on the queen. We can try to take the queen on f4, but that just leads to rook d1. And it's not just only about attacking the queen or like going for the checkmate. We just grab the queen only and we have got nothing at all at the end of the day. So it's preferable to do something immediate connected to the king, and maybe we can use some checks or something like that. Queen e1 also is quite a good approach. If rook d5, there is queen e8. But the main downside is that black will just grab it back with the c-pawn, and we don't have a good follow-up. Therefore, we can try to play knight to e7. That's such a tricky move. We want to open up the d-file for the queen while delivering a check, so black can't really fully escape. We're going to play knight e7 for sure, and when the rook takes, queen goes on d8, and if rook e8, queen takes e8, simply wins the game. So always be cautious about the back rank. It is mandatory to find this kind of approaches. King going on g7. We are down a piece, and the position doesn't look so promising either. What should we do in this situation? Can you tell about the app, please? Kevin, it actually will be out soon. Will be, in my opinion, the most revolutionary app for studying chess. Extremely enjoyable. It will be for people which are completely beginners and you're just trying to learn how to make the moves, all the way to roughly 1,600 rated players. because there will be tons of puzzles, material, interesting concepts covered up. So just stay tuned and wait for the publishing this, because I do believe it's going to be a game changer on the market, no doubt. All right, so what is the next one after King G7? Well, one of the interesting motives in this situation is to go after the king almost immediately. If we try to play some moves like rook e3 or rook d1 or something like that, you know that it's going to be really too slow. So anyone, here we have it normal, Norsk, rook h7, king takes, queen f7, and rook hn. Rook h1, you are absolutely right, you got it, well done. This is one of the motifs, rook takes h7, and when the king takes, to go for queen f7 check. And wherever the king goes, it doesn't really matter. White has this opportunity to go with rook h1, and we will deliver the mate. So it's a good sequence. Always bear in mind, it feels like the king is safe. There is no queen f7. It looks like there is no rook h7. But in the combination of this, white wins the game. Okay, next one. B takes c3. I will give you a hint, ladies and gentlemen. Here we can use the back rank issues over and over again. We are facing this kind of puzzles, but it's so common in practice. That's why. What should we do now with the black pieces? Feel free to write it down in the comments. And also give it a thumbs up, please. Let's go up to 10 likes. Let's break the records in this stream. Nothing in mind? Nobody? Will be the fastest to get the right answer. Okay, as I see here, yes, normal Norsk, you're absolutely right. The best possible continuation is to grab the rook on f1, because this is the main defender of our enemy's king. And when the king captures back, we have bishop d3 check, forcing the king to go back, and then we go with bishop e3, rook e1, simple mate. So we take it. We have seen this example quite a lot already in the past, so it was quite simple. Queen going to d2. The only file which is available right now is the G file. How can we give a check? I'm saying a bit more normal looking check, not just a random check. And we have got a good opportunity for that, which is queen g5. If we go for queen g5, the catch is that we are attacking the enemy's king on g1. And what are the moves that white can try? If the king comes on f2, this is going to be the easiest, because queen g2 is just a direct checkmate without any exceptions. And if the king goes on h1, black has got this nice looking move, bishop g2 check, forcing the king to go to g1 square. If queen g2, there is queen g2. And if the king goes back, now we can use the knight already jumping on h3 square and make a checkmate on the board. So queen g5, bishop g2, and if takes, we take it back with the queen. The sequence of the moves are extremely important. King coming on f4, two rooks versus rook and bishop. Again and again, we need to look for the possibilities of check. If you have a chance to do that, don't blink an eye, just go for it. e5 check, how does that sound? Or rook b4. Do you remember I mentioned that we always want to use the piece which currently is not doing anything? And this is the pawn on e6. It doesn't really add any value into the attack, at least at the moment. That's why we can just try to include it into the action and go for the move e5 check. After e5 check, if white moves the king on g4, we've got to play bishop f5 later, attacking the king and bringing the rook on h3 at the same time, which will be decisive. Yes, you're absolutely right. We go for check, king goes here, and bishop goes on f5. And regardless of where the king goes, we have got rook h3 at the end of the line. So we include the pieces which are not doing much, and white's king is getting made. Next example, after queen e4, what should we do? Well, when you see these three major pieces piling up along the file, you have the feeling that there should be some sort of danger coming for your opponent, and you really need to do your best to fulfill that. That's kind of mandatory. So, what are the real options that we have got right now? Well, here black has a couple of interesting tries, but the best by far is rook takes g3. What happens after rook g3? If f takes g3, we take it back with the queen, and when you see this king just being that wide open without any defense for white, we can just play queen h3 on the last move, and black just wins the game. No questions asked, game over. So rook takes g3, pawn takes, and queen takes back, and right after that, just queen h3 does the job, and black wins. Simple as that. Yes, queen g2 wouldn't work because the queen is covering up. You're right. It's better to be cautious even till the end. I've had the situations when I tried to rush my decision and I thought that it's going to be a checkmate, and I expected the pop-up online, you know, when it says that you just won the game. And I figured that no, I didn't. I actually lost the game. And when the timer doesn't stop, that's the most horrendous feeling, no doubt. Okay, after rook h7, the more we give our enemy the time, more he's going to do the move like queen f7 or bishop c4 check or something like that. And what should we do? We need to go after this king immediately. So queen takes c1 looks very tempting, but there is bishop f1, and it doesn't look like there is a direct way because there is queen f7 coming, and we don't have a good follow-up. Yes, we do. We actually need to take on e1, and after bishop f1, we can sacrifice the queen on f1 as well, and when the king takes back, there comes rook c1 at the end of the day. It's very important, ladies and gentlemen, while facing these situations, to be as direct as possible, and you need to try your best to get the most forcing sequence available. So we take it, we go for a queen takes f1 and rook c1 coming next. Black just wins the game. Good one, good one. Hello, Taniga, Shi Manred, welcome on board. Everyone, whoever just tuned in, we are working on checkmates in 3. Join us. Feel free to write your recommendations. Let's see who will be the fastest to solve the puzzles. And more we do it together, more enthusiasm will be in action. So here, what do you think we need to do right after king c8? It does look like the knight on d8 is getting defended by the enemy's king. And if black has just one more move, they will be happy to put the bishop on d6 and potentially cover up the d8 square as well. And it seems like everything will be fine for them. Can we actually allow them? Probably not. So, do we have a good approach? Yes, normal. You got this. Bishop f5 check. Saying hi to the king. And if the knight comes on e6, we can just take it. And if the king goes on b8, we have got rook d8 with a checkmate on the board. So bishop f5 check, knight e6, just the game continues a little bit longer, no special thing. We just grab the knight and go for the mate immediately. It's a really nice one. Next example, queen d3. By the way, if someone was watching this stream roughly 2 days ago when we were solving mates in 2, we have seen this similar idea and also in the combinations aspect as well. So I'm curious, who will be able to understand and determine what's going on in the current situation and which plan should we choose? Any recommendations to anyone? What should we play? Queen h8. Bravo, bravo, bravo. By the way, Normal Norsk, what is your rating? Just curious, because you are killing these positions really so well. And yeah, just relatively fast as well, which is quite impressive. No doubt. Bravo. So now we want to use the back rank somehow, but it looks like the bishop is on the way. And if black has enough time, they would love to go for queen g3, give us a check, maybe take queen h3 as well, and the position looks quite pleasant for black to play. So we must hurry up and go for queen h8 check. What happens after queen h8? Probably you're thinking, just gave up the queen, and what did we even get? Well, it is actually so nice shot, because we have got bishop f6 check right now, and when the king goes on g8, there comes rook e8 with the checkmate. So this tactical pattern is quite important to remember. Next one, rook g6, and black takes it back with the pawn. What should be the next one? This is a little bit more challenging, and I would say not too easy. Curious who will get it. In chat, let me know. What should we play now with white? My first official tournament is in December, so I don't have a feed rating yet. Well, you are definitely ready for it, and the best of luck. You came at the right place for the preparation. I like that. We'll cover up some tactical opportunities, many educational streams we are going to have. The videos in the future uploaded too. Just stay tuned and stay with us. Gives us a lot of motivation, so we can try to turn our passion into a very knowledgeable channel where when someone enters, immediately enjoys working on it. After h takes g6. Well, we have a couple of approaches. One of them definitely is to take queen g6, which looks tempting, no doubt, because look, if we see something like king f8, we can go for queen f6, and regardless of what black does, rook h8 is inevitable. But the issue is that after queen g6, there comes rook g7, and we've got to be cautious. Like, when the rook covers it, what is next? The thing is that, and also, this queen from all the way this diagonal can cover up some important squares as well. How about we start with queen h8 check, and when the king comes up on f7, we use the piece which is not doing anything at all at the moment. Rook h7 check, and when the king comes on e6, we can put the queen on e5. This way we say hi to this king, cannot go backwards on any of these squares, and white gets a lasting advantage, meaning checkmate on the board. So queen h8 is a very nice move. And after king f7, rook h7, followed by queen e5. So always pay attention to the move candidates. Maybe some of them might be a bit more interesting than the other ones. So we do want to go for it. So rook h7, king comes up on e6, and we go for queen e5, checkmate on the board. Next example, king going on h8. Well, the back rank. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always so painful topic for our opponent that we would love to go for some attack there. How do we proceed further? Anyone, any recommendation? I'm sure there will be a lot of people which will be able to find the right continuation. Well, you're wondering, why am I making this moves? Just my cat is here, and whenever I pet her, just the skin actually goes on my fingers, and when I just touch my nose or mouth, actually, it is very itchy. So if she decides to show off, now she's taking a nap, she will join us, my cat. So what do we have right now? Which move should be played? Something along the back rank. This king is terribly located. We need to seize the momentum. And we all know that. How is it possible to get there? Well, we have a great chance to go for it all in if we try to go for rook f8, in case of rook f8, there comes rook f8. If the king comes up there, we go with queen f6 with an amazing result at the end of the day. But if we go for queen f6, there is king g8. And what do we do next? Like queen f8 leads to nowhere special. So we start with this move. If the king comes up, we have queen g8. And if the trade is happening and the king comes up later, we can go with queen g8 mate. It's quite beautiful and we don't need to worry about any checks whatsoever behind. So we go for it, rook takes, give another check, and the queen goes on g8. Seems like white easily wins the game. Next one, rook b8. Well, again, whenever you feel like the back rank issues are appearing, don't think twice. Look for the sacrifices. It is absolutely mandatory. So, through queen b8, we see that this is weakened, but can we actually play rook 8 right away? Well, I don't think so, because if we go for it, rook takes on e8, then rook takes c8, queen is there, and we don't get much. But if we get rid of this piece on b8, then we can try to make it work. Therefore, queen b8 is a good option, followed by rook e8, and when the queen takes, take it with the rook, and white makes a checkmate immediately on the board. Next example, queen going on f8. Well, white has got plenty of good opportunities, but there is only one good one. If we try to play some move like moving the queen away, maybe we might survive even though we're down a piece, but of course we are not looking for worse position and trying to survive. Something direct to the enemy's king. What are the options? Back rank, is it weak? Maybe slightly, but we don't actually have enough pieces to take the advantage of it. So if we take queen f8, there comes rook f8, and it doesn't look like there is a good follow-up. Can we try something else? Maybe, but what else? Like something on the 8th rank? Not really. But on the other hand, our opponent's king is kind of in danger, and we can try to execute that plan. So rook takes h7 doesn't look bad at all. If the king takes, we go with rook h1 check, and if the bishop goes on h5, we can grab that as well. Well done, Elman number 1. You got this. We take it, and when the king grabs, rook h1 check, and there is not much black can do. Just bishop can cut this file, but it is very temporary. We're going to make a mate on the h file regardless. So that's a good one. Easy indeed. Rook h7 is a really beautiful tactical shot. Queen e7. Ladies and gentlemen, give it a thumbs up. Let's go up to 10 likes. I know we got this. Just click the like button. Well, what happens after queen e7? We're under check. Probably it's the first time we have got the puzzle when we're under check. And usually people start to panic in this case. And even thinking like, okay, but what do we even get out of it? This position just looks terrible. But you know what? Even though we have a check, we can give the check back without moving the king away. That's the beauty of chess. And white has got a very nice looking move, bishop e4, covering the file plus giving a check to the enemy's king. Black is forced to go on g8, and we need to follow up with queen h7, queen h8. Well, black has a lot of extra pieces, more active ones, but we generally don't care about it because we have got everything needed. Only 2 pieces are required to make a checkmate, and we can just go for it. Queen h7, king goes away, followed by queen h8 with a mate on the board. And here we have Arkady joining us. Hello, Arkady. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening. All is good. Georgi, how are you doing till now?
All set.
How are the things going? Good?
All set. We are working on checkmates in 3 with the puzzles, basically covering it up. And people are trying to tune in more. We have some good players as well, eager to improve as soon as possible. And let me introduce you the puzzles, whatever we are covering.
So you are currently in which study, yeah? Just for me to enter the same one.
Actually, what we have currently is that we are working on the one on Lichess, just specifically solving the puzzles. we have it, like in the puzzles section. Currently,
just let me enter the same puzzle section that you are now. How can I see that?
actually, it will be better. I believe that we can move on to a regular study. It will be the easiest, I think, right now. Just a moment, and we can continue from there. Okay, which one? Let's say we can try to work on mating 2, or we did that part already. Yes, this we
part
did.
1. No, but I think this level 1, part 1. So this is what we did yesterday, but we did not finish. We stopped, I think, at chapter 20.
Let's have a look. We can continue
yes,
from
we
there.
stopped at 20. Yes. Let's
We-
continue from 21, maybe.
Sure, I see. So mate in 2, we are in part 2, right? Or part 1. Let me check it out. I'll try to find this study.
Part 1, level 1. Part 1, level 1.
Level 1, part 1.
Yep, number 21.
Number 21. Okay, all set. We are on the same page. I see. Okay.
Yes.
Arkady, tell us, how should we play in this situation?
Okay. What do you think, Georgi? I can also move, or just you?
Yes.
No, I think I can also move the piece. Okay, so
Yes.
all set. Good. So let's solve some puzzles. What do we have here? We are queen down. So not so easy without a queen down. We have to do something urgently. Otherwise, it's gonna be tough. So can we give some nasty checks at the current moment? Are there some nasty checks? Okay, rook d8, d7, d8 doesn't bring us nothing. Can we give a check with a knight? No. Can we give a check with a bishop? Bishop g7. Does it make sense to check now on g7? Maybe we can hear something from the chat, but for the moment, the solutions are not there, but let us try. So to give a check with a rook for sure makes no sense. Can we do slow play? Looks like, what can we do except bishop on g7 check? So for example, knight e8, but as well, knight to e8, we attack the queen on c7. But, well, how does it help us? Is there some kind of mating net? Not yet, probably, or at least it's not so visible. So let's go back. Let's try the move bishop g7 check. King takes, and here comes the key. Knight e8. So family fork. Knight e8 check. King has to move somewhere, and we win the queen. So actually quite a nice motive, and this is another motive that we see a lot of times, something similar going on around the opponent's king. Sometimes as well with our own king. Georgi, have you been crushed like this with this idea of check and then you get forked?
Oof. Many times. Lost count of it, actually. At some point, I was counting, but later I stopped. There was no point because it was too many. And I tried to move on in my life. That's it.
Yes, because this is what happens quite a lot. Okay, let's do another one. And yes, we just have now puzzles. So here we have mates, material win, everything comes together. So more funny to watch because unpredictable a little bit. So it is white to play. Can we do something nasty? Yes. Is there something nasty that can be done? So again, first try to check some direct checks, eventually a fork. So it has to be something, yeah, because otherwise it would be not a puzzle. During all game, more hard to find because you don't know when you have something. But right now you can be sure there is something. And what can we do here? Can we fork something? Doesn't look like. To go back, usually it's not a solution. So to go back, it could be a normal move, but probably it would not win the game. So what else can we do? Can we play like a rook h3 idea? Try to get this h7 pawns because we have the queen on b1. Yes, this is possible, but there might be a defense because it's not forced. So is there sort of a forced solution? And yes, it is. And boom, queen sacrifice on h7. King has to take. And here we go, rook h3. We give a check. g8 is covered. g6 is covered. So yeah, it looks like a mate, and it is a checkmate. Georgi, by the way, what do you think about today's Yesipenko blundering the rook in the most decisive, maybe game of his life?
Absolutely, actually. I'm just curious, how do people get over such things? By the way, I have seen the video footage of it. You know what's the weird thing? On knight e3, we have done the commentaries today as well on the stream on that game. On knight e3, he was reaching the rook. He wanted to move the rook away. After some seconds, he moved his hand back, played c6.
Yes, tough, too tired, Georgi. It's very simple explanation. Just exhausted, but of course, after defending for a very long time, he managed to defend. He managed to get even a better position, and then yeah, such a blunder. But I think he will recover from that. I think Yesipenko. But probably much tougher one was when Nepomniachtchi lost the match to Ding. Actually, Nepomniachtchi did not recover from that. So
Yes.
sometimes, yeah, it's very, very difficult to recover. Very, very difficult, yeah. Such a loss is terrible.
You still think he's into this match still, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course, yeah. Nepomniachtchi, yeah, he will never forget this match because he had a winning match against Ding, and he had so many chances to win the match, like so many chances of winning the match. Then you lose finally. I mean, you don't recover from it because you are just 1 second away from becoming a world champion. Can you imagine that, Georgi? Just 1 second away. It's a life changer. Yeah, it's completely life changing. So how long we're gonna stream? We're gonna stream, I don't know, 1 hour approximately, more, something like that. Okay, let's go with the next one. Georgi, you want to try the next one?
Yes.
It's a beauty. The next one is so beautiful. Yeah.
If you manage to find this kind of tactics during the games, well, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You're doing very well in your chess journey. Well, so you're probably wondering, okay, we've got the pawn. We can try to take on a fade. Does it really work out? Well, not really, because the king takes back and we end up in the queen's ending with an extra pawn for black. Can we save it? Maybe, but is it winning? Definitely not. But we have got another opportunity. When you see that such move just doesn't work, and probably a lot of people will just mislook at some other possibilities. Always, regardless of how dumb the variation looks like, pay attention to checks. And apart from taking here and promotion, there is another check, which is queen takes h7. But you're thinking probably, okay, well, king takes back and there is nothing. But no, there is actually something. And as I see, people are recommending in chat as well. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Queen takes h7. Double exclamation mark indeed. And when the king takes back, we promote to the knight. When you capture the rook to promote the knight to do the family four, you are already on a different level. You cannot just even say hi to your friends anymore. No need. You are on different league at this point. And after promoting to the knight, it's just finished. Let's say king goes away, knight e6. White ends up with an extra piece and a winning game as well. So bravo, kudos to everyone which mentioned in the chat, and a couple of them saw this queen h7 idea. Very good. We're improving day by day. I like it a lot.
Yes, and this is what is our stream about, and as well, all the next streams, it's gonna be much more about trying to give a nice chess material for the people to improve. Maybe this is not what brings most of the clicks, But I believe that this is the right strategy, at least for Georgi and me. We try to make you better. We try to provide you high-level chess material so you can improve. For those who like more funny content, Georgi and me, we found a guy whose name is Sadistic Tushi. Maybe some
Yes,
of you
highly
you know
recommended.
Sadistic Tushi. Yes, this is a superstar who is streaming on YouTube, but you have to check his content. This is special. Let's call it like that. So, with Georgia, yeah, we have our strategy to try to give a high level material so all of you can improve and hopefully win a lot of games in the future. Let's go with the next one. So, here also very typical motive. Who knows how to win here with the white pieces?
Hop in the pony. Here, I see actually some comments with Tushi is using it on his stream. So
Hop in
people
the pony,
do.
but
People
also very
follow.
important, you have to say this with an Indian accent. So
Yes,
it
yes,
should
that's
not be
true.
English. It should be Indian English.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It fits it well. Hello,
Yeah.
Mojo. Welcome on board. The
Yes.
checkmate
Welcome
with the
everyone.
bishop. Wow, just look at that chat, how
Yeah.
active they are, and they are
Excellent.
just killing
Excellent.
it. Tell us, Arkady,
This is
explain us what is going on here.
so we have here a very typical motive, and actually if you need to find that, it's not so easy, but if you know that, then it's easy because then you automatically check for this kind of ideas. We have the bishop pair. It seems like not much is going on. All the pieces are in the center, but hey, here we have this, yeah, classical, typical motive of sacrificing something. This time it is a queen. It might be as well rook or knight or doesn't matter what, because the idea remains the same. So we take on c6. Obviously, black has to take. And here it comes, beautiful mate on a6. So this kind of mates actually happened in very many games. Very, very many games. Very nice motive because white has often the bishop on f4 as well. We see very often long castle for those of you who plays a Caro-Kann defense. Probably you got mated a couple of times already in such a situation. So important thing to remember. And of course, yeah, you can avoid it. This is a good thing. And as well, you can be the one to give such a beautiful checkmate. So it is important for both colors, of course, always to know a motive. It helps you in both ways. It helps you to avoid, and as well, it helps you, of course, to give a checkmate. So very, very nice checkmate. Let's go with the next one. And Georgi, you do or I do?
Up to you, as you wish.
Okay, let me do another one because you had already some time before. So to
Sure.
speak so much sometimes is not that simple because actually we are chess players, so we're not commentators. All right, let's go. So what can we do here with white? It looks like we're pawn down. So this is definitely not so good. On the other hand, we have this active rook. This is nice because the rook can go to e8 or e5. e5 also, double attack, trying to get the pawn. e8 is a check, but then black has to play the move for rook f8 because there is nothing else which can be done. And yes, in the chat we have already the correct solution. Very good, because it's not so simple to see. So let's check. This is not enough rook e5. Rook e5, not enough. Can we improve the position of the bishop? Yes, we can, but is it enough to win the game? Doesn't look like. So let's check a forced continuation. This is how the thought process should be. We give a check. Rook f8 only. Can we do now something? Bishop takes h7. So again, a long move. Not so easy to see, but it is a very nice move. So now obviously king f7, because what else? In case king takes the bishop, we are gonna take on f8 and that's it. So we have the rook versus knight. This is a winning position. So black has to go king f7, and now comes the key idea. So to change rooks, it's possible, but it's an endgame. Pawns are equal, hard to say. We have a better solution here, and it is bishop to g6 check. Very, very beautiful. What a beautiful move. King has to take the bishop. because in case king goes back, we're gonna take rook and we're gonna win the knight. Now we have an endgame piece up. This is a very easily winning endgame. So king g8 not possible. Black has to take. We take on f8. And we stop here because we can be sure that white is doing much better. If you're going to win it, if you're a club level player, for sure you're going to win such a position. If you're just a beginner, it's still going to be tricky because knight is always very, very tricky. But objectively speaking, yes, position of white is winning. So again, let's take a look at this. Check, rook f8, bishop h7, and try to remember. Try to remember so you're going to improve in your next games. Okay, so let's go with the next one. Georgi,
Here we go. So
show us
quite
some
an
moves.
interesting one.
Show us some moves.
During the whole stream, we were discussing about the back rank issues. If you smell that something like that is coming, don't blink an eye, ladies and gentlemen. Directly start calculating everything. Remember that. There is a golden phrase. One big philosopher said, if there is a back rank checkmate on the line, any sacrifices are permissible. And this is one of those occasions. So what can we try? By the way, there are no philosophers just came up with something. So what can we do here?
I never heard of that.
Yes, Tim, I was waiting for that moment.
Okay. Maybe it's some kind of philosopher from Georgia.
No one like that. So what do we do now? We must do anything what it takes to get to the back rank here. So we can try to go for queen c8, but well, black is not forced to take it. We need to get there somehow differently. And you got this right in the chat. We need to grab the rook on d4, and black is forced to take it back. Otherwise, we just took the rook for absolutely nothing. And whenever we take it, when queen takes back, the king immediately feels so insecure, and there should be some red alarm coming in your brain there mentioning, damn it, something is going on. I need to seize the momentum and make this philosopher proud as well. Just go for rook c8 at the end of the line. There is not much black can do. Like what? Like queen d8, we are going to take it. Knight d8, we are going to take it. And black just resigned. But I really like knight d8. Just at least black could claim that, I had an extra queen and I lost the game or something like that.
At least, very end, yeah.
Yes, but it just didn't work out well there. So really nice, beautiful example indeed. So moving on to the next one.
Next one. Okay, so next one is a bit more tricky than the previous one, but similar idea. So we can see that the bishop is not developed very well. We have the rook on a8 not doing much. When you see something like that, then immediately you should think, can I do something fast? Because obviously the black pieces are still on the starting positions. So not the best. How to win here? Can we sacrifice a queen? No, because black rook simply gonna take, and then in case we give a check, rook is going back. So it's not gonna work. We have to do something else. Can we somehow bring the knight eventually to g5? It's a good idea, but it's gonna take so long. So let's see what can we do here as well. It is a typical motif, and it is a rook sacrifice, rook d8. Absolutely correct solutions in the chat. Yeah, very nice to see the chat so active. And as well, quite good players in the chat. So rook d8, rook sacrifice, and at the same time we're pinning the king on h8. There is a threat of queen g7 with a checkmate, and there is no way to avoid this checkmate. So it literally doesn't matter what black does, except some queen sacrifice to make the game one move longer or similar solutions. Queen g7 with a checkmate. Let's put it on the board because it's a beautiful checkmate. So queen g7 with a checkmate, or maybe actually this is more beautiful checkmate, no, Georgi?
Yes.
Bishop e6, queen g7. So still queen g7 is unavoidable. So we have here this beautiful checkmate with a pin on the 8th ring. Nice idea to be remembered. So try to focus on this kind of samples because it will give you quite an edge in your next blitz games, wherever you play, and of course as well in classical chess. So here nothing changes. These motifs are gonna make you good players. Okay, let's go with the next one. And if you think this looks like pretty easy, don't worry. I give you an example. All top chess grandmasters, so all the people from the top 10 of the world, they are solving a lot of easy puzzles to stay in shape and to repeat the motifs. So even Magnus Carlsen is doing pretty normal puzzles, so it's not like a study 103 moves to win. Absolutely not. So to solve studies, it's always a good thing. Even if it looks a bit too easy, don't worry. It's anyway very, very useful. Georgi, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, and I do agree with you on that quote. Definitely, some simple positions should be repeated. It's on daily basis. Improve that, sharpen your skills, and you'll be much faster during the calculation process. Very well. Enemy is trying his best to cover up the g7 square as much as possible. They would love to bring more pieces into the action as well. But do you remember what we said about some back rank ideas? Can we try to go for rook d8? Looks like an interesting option because actually, you know what? If black takes it, we have got this queen g7 and it's a checkmate on the board. But you know this meme when people just say that call an ambulance, but not for me? This is exactly the case right now. So we go rook d8 and after queen c2, I know exactly how you will be feeling. So pay attention to what your opponent also wants to do if you don't do things with the checks. So rook d8 is an interesting motif, but we lose on spot. Therefore, we look at some other opportunities. Do we have queen h7? Not really, king takes it back. How about queen g7? At least we can get rid of the rook. That actually is the right direction. Because after giving a check, when the rook takes, we have got f takes g7. Giving a check. And if the king goes on g8, we have rook d8 check. And what is black going to do? I believe queen e8 is the only shot right now, and rook takes back. Therefore, in these kind of situations, always pay attention to what your opponent's threat is and check out if you have some forced sequence of the moves to deliver either a checkmate or win some material. This time, it was a mate, so it's the jackpot indeed.
Yes, quite a nice checkmate with the rook. Let's go to the next puzzle. And as well, here we have something very, very typical. Just a glance at this position should be enough to find this beautiful win. A nice motif that arises from a lot of different positions in the Sicilian, for example. How can we win something with the white pieces? We just have the strong knight, so everything else is not developed yet. So it looks like it should be everything okay for black. But there is this beautiful trick that we can use now with the white pieces. Maybe we have some ideas in the chat already. Not yet, probably.
Still thinking. It's a tough one, it seems.
It's not so easy because just one piece, and here we go. We have already the right solution in the chat. It is indeed the move bishop b5. So what a beauty. We have here this kind of pin. Queen has to take the bishop, otherwise black is going to be queen down. So to play queen down is not the way. So queen has to take, and we give family fork. It's actually family plus, I would call it. Because we have as well the rook. Yeah, so we have family plus fork. King has to be moved. Doesn't matter where you go with the king. We're gonna win the queen. So we won a full queen, and we gave just the bishop. So obviously it is a fantastic exchange. So please do remember this idea. Bishop b5, very useful tactic, can be played in many different sort of positions. Let's go with the next one, Georgi.
Let's move on. Well, playing with
This
the
one is
white
very
pieces, yes,
This one is very tricky.
And I am certain what people are going to say. Okay, we just take the queen on e5, knight takes e5, rook f8, GG. Good game. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. But there is a big catch. Well, I see that we have some sharp people in chat, though, like killing the puzzles in the air within seconds. By the way, just tell us, ladies and gentlemen, what your ratings are, either on lichess when you play or feed ratings. I believe some like over 2,000 rated people just tuned in and they're just killing it instantly on spot there. Just let us know in the chat, please. So here, what should we do? The biggest downside of queen takes c5 is that, okay, if knight e5, it's all clear. But there comes bishop a3 check. And what do we do?
Move, yeah.
Nothing. The bishop goes away. It is not hanging anymore. And black still keeps the control over the f file. So let's say we move the king on b1, d1. I don't know any of the square, knight e5. And I think the resulting ending is just lost. 2 pieces for enemy plus a pawn. It is too much to do something about it. Therefore, when you see that some combination might click in your mind, try to look for changing the move order. Let's say directly queen e5 didn't work because of bishop a3, but can I try rook f8 first and then queen e5? Always switch the orders, because most likely we'll end up with a much, much better situation. So yes, we are going to take on f8, and when the knight takes it back, we're going to grab the queen on e5. And we just won the queen for absolutely nothing, therefore black resigns.
Yes, indeed. Very, very nice tactics. And of course, the difficulty of this puzzle is that most of the players usually want to take the queen first, and then we miss this in-between move. So obviously it is not the solution. So quite a tricky puzzle. By the way, in case you enjoy the content, please do subscribe, give us a like. In case you like Georgi, you don't like me, still subscribe and give us a like. Okay, let's go with the next puzzle. And what do we have here? Yes, it's also a nice one. So we have quite a symmetric situation, actually. And as well, bishop, 2 bishops, queen versus 2 bishops and a queen. It looks like it should be very close to a draw, actually, yeah? Because white should be better. Yes, white pieces are a bit more active, but usually it's not enough to win the game in case we have this kind of symmetrical setup. But there is a beautiful combination, there is a beautiful win for white. The black king currently is a bit open. So we have as well here the bishop covering the squares of the black king. Can we do something with white to initiate a deadly attack, or maybe to win some material? So what is possible here? Let's see if we have something interesting in the chat. Queen e6. Yes, indeed, it is correct. So very, very nice. We have a lot of strong players in the chat. Queen e6. What a move. White is sacrificing a queen. So bishop takes is forced, and bishop takes e6 with a mate. So very, very nice. Very nice mate. Queen e6, and then bishop takes e6. You must be already quite sharp to see this kind of tactics immediately. Of course, it's possible to find it because you might be thinking, what else should I do? Is there something else? Then you think for a couple of minutes, you don't find something else, and then you think, okay, this can be my last try, and then you see, yes, it works. But to see this kind of things instantly, you must be already quite sharp. So it would be quite nice to know your ratings in the chat. Please, as Georgi asked, what is your rating, lichess or FIDE? Let's go with the next one. Georgi, also quite typical motif, as I can see.
Yes, indeed. And I'm always happy to make this kind of combinations on the board. With a smile on the face is a mandatory thing, though. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this type of situations, either you give a checkmate or you get mate. There is usually no other way. Everything is coming. Rook takes a2, knight a2, 150 pieces attacking our king. So at this point, try to strike back as soon as possible. let's look at some potential checks. Do we have knight f7? Well, we can try, but after rook takes, queen takes, we don't have a good follow-up, and black has plenty of good sacrifices down there. How about other checks? And when you see this kind of version of the queen and the knight in the combination, it's a very common tactical idea to try queen g8. Well, usually if the bishop doesn't stand there, your opponent will take it back with the king, and your dreams will shatter within seconds. And if someone will ask you, why did you do that, this queen g8, you just need to prove them that you are not retarded, which is so difficult, in my opinion, actually, to explain it. I've done it once because I actually thought the bishop was standing in bullet on the same diagonal, and I understood that I just moved it away, opponent took it, and I resigned it. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not repeat the same mistakes. Make sure the bishop is backing up the queen. So after we do that, only move for black is to grab it with the rook, and there comes this smothered mate, knight f7. So this combination is quite crucial and very typical for such occasions. But I'm certain, right after you play rook g8, your opponents will resign, because no one wants to be on YouTube later with these beautiful sacrifices and everything. They don't want to be anti-hero, the only game which they lost maybe in the tournament to get famous. But it's a good sportsmanship-like move. If your opponent did something like that and you feel like it was well-deserved, just let them make a checkmate. You will be famous, at least. Not with the good stuff, but you will be famous.
Okay. So let's go with the next one. And here also a very, very nice winning idea for white. As we can see, we have again this kind of long diagonal danger towards the black king. As well, we have a beautiful rook on d1 making pressure on the d file. Can we do something fast? In case we go for an endgame, it's going to be equal sum. No endgames, obviously. We want to win instantly. In case we play something like knight d5, it's not a bad move to put the knight in the center. But of course, we are searching for something faster than that. And what can we do here? There is a force win. And indeed, it is knight f6. Very nice check. It doesn't matter with which piece black is going to take the knight. Nothing helps. So let's say bishop takes, because it's really not important. Queen h7. Boom, with a mate. Nice idea. But this idea of check and then take as well, we have in very many kind of different positions. So please do remember and be aware of this kind of tricky idea. It happens very, very often. Okay, Georgi, next one. Also, nice idea.
Here we go. Well, when your king is under a lot of fire, that you're trying to figure out where to escape, queen h1, queen h2 coming, well, you do need to seek for help if possible, but if it's not there, you need to strike back as soon as possible and get the counterplay running. A typical idea would be to go for queen a7, which looks quite tempting, but the king just walks away from you, like not even running, just walking away and looking at you from behind, asking you, okay, then. And at the end of the day, you're getting mated on h1. And you know, when you see your victory, your destiny there, but it just move by move is going away from you, that you cannot catch it, it's mandatory to lock in. We don't let the king to sidestep and give us a psychological damage. That's why we need to. It is when you see that the king is running away and looking at you at the same time, just to tell you, you know, to tease you that you didn't catch me, like catch me if you can occasion, but you didn't manage to, and you are getting mated on h1 on the other hand. Damn. That really sucks. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, use that technique to lock the king there and not let your opponent's king to run away. What do? Rook a8. Rook is very happy to get sacrificed for this mission. Only move to take it with the king. That absolutely goes with queen a7. This time, you don't see the king running away. We managed to lock in and deliver a checkmate. That's a good an important motif to remember.
Indeed, a very nice mate, and as we can see, Georgi is taking every game extremely personal. So it's not just about winning or losing, it's about being psychologically crushed, psychologically crush your opponent, etc. So with Georgi, every game does matter.
Yes, no doubt.
It's not just chess, it's way more than that. Okay, let's see what we can do in the next sample. And in the next sample, we have just a rook and knight. So as we know, knight can be very, very tricky piece. Actually, knight is very, very strong in case it comes to attack. So we have this knight d4 check. Can we use it in a good way? We have to find a solution. How can we use this knight d4 check in the best way possible? So there is a way to give a check instantly. The king is going to walk back, and it's difficult because, yes, maybe we're going to save the game, but we are not going to win the game. So we have to come back. This is not a solution. What is a solution? And indeed, we have again correct answers in the chat. Very, very good. Rook f5. Pin. Black queen has to take it. Nothing else is there. And now we have the family fork. Knight d4 check. King goes back, or it doesn't matter where the black king is gonna go. We are just gonna take the queen, and that's it. We're a piece up in endgame. This is a very easily, of course, winning endgame, having a piece up. So quite a beautiful idea. We're pinning, and then here comes a family fork, and we win the game. All right, Georgi, next one. Also, very typical idea, yeah. Nice sample.
Yes, and I've had this kind of positions a lot of times, actually, when my opponent thought that, okay, we're just about to trade off the queens, trade off the rooks, do the handshake, and think about what to do later this evening. But actually, the funny thing is that the game ends much faster than they think. That's the best part of it. Just in one move. They don't need to hustle for playing an equalish position and neutralize the pieces. So help your opponent to set up the plans for the evening as soon as possible, immediately. Don't let them think too much. Just when you try to go for queen d4, we see that rook d4 is coming. Maybe you can consider rook e7 and go for the follow-up, but you don't get much. Black easily just makes a draw if they want to. So we need to look for some other options. When you see that this rook is busy holding the queen, sometimes just a random move like rook e8 throwing the rook might be the best shot, and it actually works out very well in this situation. What is black going to do? If the rook takes on e8, we have got queen d4 and the game is over. What else? The king can try to come up on g7, but that also doesn't work. Not because of rook d8, because black can just take it back, or even queen a1, or there will be some ideas. We can take the queen on d4. And just because the rook on e8 looks like an uninvited guest, it does a lot of good stuff for us, actually. Just all of it. Why is the rook standing on e8? If you look at this position right away, there are like 150 pieces attacking it, but all of them ignored it. And we need to seize the momentum. Queen takes d4, and when the rook takes, there comes rook a8, winning a rook. And the best part, your opponent already has enough time to set up the plans for the evening.
Excellent idea. Rook e8, indeed, very beautiful idea. And all of the top players, they know this kind of motive because as well, it's so common. Extremely common way of losing or winning, I guess, to most of the players. This did happen in a good way, and of course in a bad way, because to miss something like rook e8, you're thinking, damn, I should have seen that, but yeah, I know the motive. And of course, if you are the guy to make this rook e8, you're smiling. Georgi, do you smile after rook e8?
Yes.
In your opponent's face?
Maybe not, because it's a bit unpleasant and inappropriate,
Yes,
but
we should
deep
not do
inside,
that.
yes, deep inside.
Deep inside, yeah.
You should have
Your
seen
face.
the poker face of Wei today when
Yeah,
he
V is
captured
always
the rook.
zero emotions.
I was
Zero.
shocked to see that. I thought that he was attacking the rook as well as Sipenko, and maybe they were getting to drawish endgame. But the guy had a zero reaction whatsoever
Yes.
to get qualified for the candidates and getting into the final. Like a zero.
Yes, yeah. The E is huge. The E is huge. So let's try to solve the current puzzle. So maybe one day we can be as good as the E. Of course, we cannot. But at
Nice
least we can
try.
try.
But nice try.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we can try. We can try to become every day a little bit better. So, can we win something here with white? We have this beautiful rook against the black king. This is looking nice. So maybe we can use it. We have moves like c4 attacking the knight. We have e takes d6 idea. In case we take e takes d6, so we take the pawn, queen is going to take back, and yeah, that's it, because it is not helping us. So is there something more? And here another motive. It is a must-known motive because it just happens as well so frequently. How can white here win a full piece in one move? And we have an answer in the chat. Just the number is wrong. Almost correct. Just one number is missing. And solution for the current puzzle is queen takes d5. What a move. We give the queen for the knight. Usually a very bad decision because white gives the queen. But here comes this e takes d6. So we take the pawn, we attack the queen, and simultaneously we give a check from the rook on e1. What kind of useful rook is that? Unbelievable. E takes d6, check. We will win the queen on c7 next. Queen cannot escape because there is nowhere to go except the move queen e7, but now still we have the pin, so things are remaining the same. We just take the queen and that's it. After taking queen, let's recount the pieces. We have knight and two bishops, two rooks, black with two bishops and two rooks, so we are piece up, which gives actually a huge advantage to white in this endgame. On a higher level, this is just a winning endgame. So what a beautiful move. E takes d6, pressure on the e file, queen is under attack, and this queen takes d5. Boom. We sacrifice a queen, and then e takes d6. Very, very nice idea. Quite a typical idea, so please try to remember this kind of thing so you win a lot of chess games. Let's go with the next one, Georgi.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a bit of a mayhem on the board, no doubt. The queens are almost getting traded. Black is sitting with the turtle on b7, strengthening the queen on d5, forcing the trade. What do? You try to move the queen away, you will get mated, so it's not a good option. But I know a lot of you just don't like the endgames. It's too boring, very few pieces, not much happening. Over time, this mindset will be changed, but still. So, we can trade off the queens, there is a direct attack, no hidden tricks whatsoever, but don't forget this golden rule. Whatever check exists, even if it looks stupid, just pay attention. If it is stupid, you will only spend a couple of seconds maximum to refute it. So, that's why here, let's have a look at what options do we have available. How about something like knight h6? Well, it's kind of okay, but after g takes h6, what do we have? There is no good follow-up, and it seems like black's king stands quite well on g8. Yeah, it's a close call, we can call it. But there is something much better than that. We can go on the other direction. It doesn't look that dumb anymore because we just give a fork. And as my friend told me once, he forked the king, the queen, the rook, and the knight. And when he said the knight, he didn't understand that this knight is going to get captured immediately. And he lost the piece, by the way, obviously. So after we go for knight e7, what is black going to do? The king can't really move away because we will take the queen, very valuable piece. So knight takes e7 makes a bit more sense. But something just happened. Pay attention to the last moves usually in those occasions. We have got queen h7 running down the board. And I said, okay, well, the king is trying to run away as it was in the previous example, and we couldn't really lock in, but luckily the bishop has ourselves covered. So we've got queen h8 check coming down the road. Knight g8 is not possible to be played because the knight is pinned and the king has nowhere else to go. Therefore, white wins the game with this beautiful combination, deflecting the enemy's knight and getting through the 8th rank.
And Georgi smiles again in his opponent's face.
Yes, yes, do that, ladies and gentlemen, do it.
Okay, so what do we have here? This time we have an endgame. Opposite color bishops, usually a sign that this endgame is maybe gonna end into a draw. But we have a nice combination. So white can win here. First, we have to calculate the check. So we have e5 check and rook takes d6 check. Let's start with the move e5 check. Black is going to take, obviously. Why not? And after bishop takes e5, is there something white can do here? Can we win on the spot? Doesn't look like that. So probably wrong decision. What else can we do? Rook takes d6. We take the bishop. Black has to take back. Now we go the move e5. So one pawn can be as well a monster piece. Check. King goes back and we take the rook. So after all this exchanges, white has an extra bishop and a winning position in the endgame. So not every endgame is a draw. We take and we give a check. Nice idea. Nice thing that can be used in a lot of games. Georgi, how do you call actually this kind of fork with a pawn?
Winning combination.
Yeah. Winning combination actually can be called, doesn't matter what, no? It's like
called an easy solution. Easy solution there. I don't know what is it called there. Yes.
Let's give a check. Let's win some peace.
Yes, that's it.
Peace winner.
Peace winner. Oh, that has a double meaning. Peace winner. That sounds good, actually. Okay.
Okay.
So we had a similar situation last time, but we had the bishop standing on c3. We have covered it during the stream, where if we were supposed to play queen g7, rook takes, f takes, and then we had the back rank issue. But this time we are locking the bishop. There is nothing to back us up. So how do we proceed further with this? Do we remember last time we looked at some rook d8, deflecting the enemy's rook from g8 and trying to get to queen g7? But if rook d8, it was all fine, but we paid attention to one thing, that black has plenty of options. And most importantly, queen c2. It's quite ironic that we are getting mated the same way, actually. Last time it was on c2 as well. So, what else can we try? There is another beautiful motif, and I see these in chat already at this point in different languages, as I see in different fonts, and they're trying to change it there. Queen takes h7. Don't forget, even if the move looks stupid, pay attention and look at the details. Queen takes h7 is a cool move. If the king takes back, we have got rook h3 with a check and covering up everything. And if king needs to take it because there is nothing else left, king has no good squares to go. Only option is queen h4, rook takes h4 with the checkmate. So queen h7 motif is also as common as queen takes g7 in these occasions.
Indeed, indeed. Queen takes h7. Very, very nice. Let's go with the next one. And what do we have here? So here we have as well quite a nice winning idea. This time it might be not a mate. So to give a mate actually is more simple. To win some material usually is harder because we focus too much on the mating combinations. And sometimes we cannot switch the focus to something else. So here we cannot give a mate because the queen is just too far away. So usually you need a queen or a rook to give a mate. Otherwise it works in a rare occasion, but normally no. So how can we win something here? We have to do something nasty to the black king. We have the knight on e7. We have the bishop on b2. Is it enough? Yes, it is. So what can we do here? And the solution is, do we have the solution in the chat already? Yes, we have the solution in the chat. Very good, very fast solving. It is indeed bishop takes g7. So again, we're double checking the forced lines. The most forced thing that you can do is to give a check to your opponent. So bishop takes g7 as well. Black king has to take the bishop because there is no other square to go. So the line is very, very forced. King g8, obviously, knight is covering. So king has to take, and here comes the key idea of the position. We have the family fork once again, knight f5 check, and we are going to win the queen on d6. So it doesn't matter, again, where the black king is going to go. Let's say king hides on g8. We will just take the queen, knight might take back. Now we have to recount the pieces. We have the queen, knight rook. Here is knight rook. So the queen or two bishops, which is obviously a winning position for white because queen is much, much stronger than a bishop pair. So quite a nice idea. This bishop takes g7, a good thing to be remembered with a family fork, and that's it. White is having a winning advantage. Let's go with the next one.
Very well. This move is something you want to do if you really know exactly what you're doing. Okay, so we want to go queen h7. I'm like, okay, that looks cool. We said that look at every single opportunity, even any stupid checks, we said, but that just doesn't work because knight takes it. Oh, this knight is really annoying. We want to get rid of it. Maybe rook d3, rook f3, and rook f6. Maybe one light year away you can do that. But that star is already long dead in the cosmos, so you cannot make it work. Black has plenty of time to make a comeback and strengthen the knight. Okay, what other moves do we have? Maybe your opponent might think that this is the mouse slip, but this is the most genius idea what might come up. And that's incredible. By the way, chat is like killing it though. Like they exactly know what to do. I think they have seen exactly these positions already. And you can try to do the advertisement. Where are they going to see this kind of positions soon?
Yes, very soon we're going to publish a chess application, still a couple of weeks away, and it's going to be very, very interesting. So it's going to be an app that you can play from the very beginner level to over 2000 level. All will be giving you points. You're going to have high score lists, etc., etc. A lot of puzzles per level. So stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, we are going to publish.
Excellent. And what's the right solution here? We go with queen h8. Yes, you didn't hear it wrong. Queen h8. King takes back, and we got the knight, the main hero of this position, giving a check and take the queen. But you're like, okay, we did it all for the pawn, all this drama just for a pawn? No, that's not everything. We say hello to this rook standing terribly. They're looking at each other, want to run away as soon as possible, but both of them at the same time cannot do that. So we attack it. We just won the pawn on f7, plus the exchange material will be a lot of extra. And for good level of chess players, this is 1-0 already on the board. You can smile actually right after playing queen h8, no problem. I think this will be permissible.
Definitely, and it is so easy to miss this kind of queen h8 idea, because just imagine maybe the last move of black was actually to play rook c8 because it looks good to put the rook to the free file, and then you're getting this queen h8. And as Georgi would say, it could be a reason for a heart attack because you think you're doing well, and then queen h8, that's it, game is done. You lose. Tough. Beautiful idea, queen h8. Not easy to see. Not so easy to see. All right, let's go with the next one. So what do we have here? As well, here we have quite a nice idea. So the idea is to lure away some of the defenders. We have here the situation with a rook. that the rook c6 is under attack, but it is currently protected by the bishop. So for example, in case we take on c6, bishop takes on c6, check. We have to lose the tempo to move the king somewhere. So not the best. What else can we do? Can we give some other check? Theoretically, it is only the move bishop f7, so there is nothing else in bishop takes f7, even in theory, to deliver a check. Does it work to take on f7? Let's check. So we take on f7. It's a check. If black king goes away, then it's already quite nice because we won a pawn for free. So it's already good. Not dangerous. So the most dangerous is, of course, bishop takes on f7. And here we go. Rook takes c6. So we lured away the bishop from e8 to f7 to take the rook on c6. Quite a typical, quite a nice idea. And this time, obviously, it works because there is no check on d5. If black will try to give a check to take the rook, now we take the bishop, so everything is under control. Quite nice. Georgi, how many times you have missed this kind of in-between tactical blow like bishop takes f7?
I think 152 times.
152 times
52
by
times.
Georgi.
Yes.
Not bad.
I have the notes on that already.
Okay.
Nice one. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have got.
Also, very nice one.
Knight and bishop versus queen. I mean, you kind of need to hurry up there. Let's admit that queen is so powerful piece there. So what should we do? We can start to investigate into checks. Let's say some knight c5. Does it look good? Well, okay, maybe. By the way, just one question: Is this a draw item, right? It's kind of a fortress, and that white might be able to hold it. Fortress, by the way, for those who hasn't seen it, check out our another live stream. We had a beautiful one, discussions on that. So knight c5 doesn't quite work. f6 also isn't there. Knight g5 maybe, but the queen goes away. How about bishop a4? King goes away. So we need to attract the king and the queen to stand the way that the knight can fork. And bishop e6 actually is going to be a crusher. Right after we take it, how is black planning to proceed further? Regardless of how black recaptured this piece, there is going to be a family fork, and the knight takes care of the rest. If the king takes on e6, there comes knight g5, followed by knight takes f7. If black plays queen takes c6, there is another fork, and we are grabbing the queen as well. The resulting pawn ending is easily winning, 2 extra pawns for white, nothing really major. Probably there are many moves which win the game. So bishop e6 tactical opportunity to distract the enemy's pieces and bring it to attract the enemy's piece to bring it closer for the knight to do the final job is quite common in chess. So bishop e6, watch out for this kind of moves.
Very, very beautiful. Bishop takes e6 out of nowhere. So let's take a look. Next sample, what can we do here? We are already in an endgame, so our tactical possibilities are limited. We have just 2 bishops. We have to do something special with the 2 bishops. Bishop pair is usually better than bishop and knight, so white might aim for some small advantage. But usually it's difficult to win the game, so we should do something tactical. Can we give a check? Yes, we can, but that's a bad check. It will be just a bishop down. Can we give a check with a pawn? From the first view, all right, we would be just a pawn down. Are there some other checks? No. Can we attack something instantly? Yes, maybe we can play like bishop c4 attacking the knight, but it's for sure not decisive. Maybe black is doing a little better, but white is doing a little better, but it's not decisive, not even close to be decisive. So it cannot be the move bishop c4. Let's double check. d5. So we want to win a piece. Black king has to take the pawn. And here comes a key solution. It is to give a check on c4. Now we pin king and knight, and we have this monster bishop on g3. That's why bishop pair is just so powerful when it comes into action. So bishop c4, king has to go, d6 not possible, e5 not possible. So let's say king goes to d4, we win the knight. And out of nowhere, we have bishop pair versus just the bishop. So we manage to change the pawn on d4 against the knight on e6. So it's a huge change, yeah? It's a game changer. Take bishop c4, bam, and doesn't matter where the black king is going away from the check. We're gonna win the knight on e6, and that's it. Next is going bishop f7, g6, f5, h5. Everything is falling apart, so white is having a winning position. Cool idea, d5, yeah, very, very nice one. Okay, next motif, next puzzle, next story. Georgi.
Here we go. Well, we have got the queen and the bishop lasering down the enemy's king. And we really want to make it work somehow. And probably most of you will try to hit the wall directly on b7, not paying attention there are probably 53 pieces covering up the king specifically. So not so fast, ladies and gentlemen. We have to kind of postpone this process. Okay, queen b7 maybe doesn't work because the bishop takes it. Do we have some other checking opportunities, even though it might look stupid? Knight d7, well, good try if the bishop takes it. If you play the queen b7 and at the same time you steal the rook from b4, maybe in one go you can make a checkmate. But you've got to be very skilled for that. So, because this is not even close, actually. I don't even know, maybe with the elbow you need to press it like that down while playing it. Not sure with the techniques. So what else should we do? Can we try some other checking opportunities? Maybe we can try to go for knight a6, perhaps. Looks interesting, but, well, if black just takes it, what do we get? Actually, we have a nice idea here. We don't have to make a checkmate on b7. We can prolong that process and go for a queen a8 mate instead. The king has nowhere else to go. And do you remember when we were doing the mates a bit earlier in the other streams? Queen, the closest to the king, is the easiest to deliver mate. And especially this turtle is covering up from g2. Everything has it under control. That's why it should be winning. There is one more detail. Usually pay attention to the positions. Okay, let's say your opponent doesn't take it back. What happens in that case? If the king sidesteps, we have got knight b4. We just want the rook. We are not getting mated. Everything looks amazing for white. So knight a6 is the key move in this position.
Indeed, Georgi, quite a nice tactic and a little story. I've been playing many years ago. I was giving a simul, so you play alone against, I don't know, 20 people. And I had a winning position, and I had a free pawn. The moment I made a circle, so I played against the others, and you are back, I see that I have a lost position. And then I think, I had a pawn, I'm quite sure I had a free pawn, but now it's not there anymore. So regarding your story that you make the rook b4 disappear,
He did the same, yes?
It actually happened to me in a simul, because I think my opponent just made my pawn disappear.
What was the continuation? Please tell us.
What was the what?
The continuation of the story. You asked him to put it back?
Yes, I asked to put it back, yeah, of course. But yes, sometimes,
Happens.
yeah.
If your opponent is not watching, go for it, guys. No problem. Take it.
Just take it, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Can we win here with the white pieces? Again, we have the situation just having a knight and bishop. Usually it means nothing good is coming in the future, because black is doing much better, but the position of the black king on f6 and queen on d6 is not perfect yet. So maybe actually we can win some material. Let's see if we can. Check on d5. No, nothing happening. This is not good. Check on g4. Let's say king goes back. Do we have something? Again, no. So we don't. Is there a better check to give? And yes, we can. e5. King takes or queen takes? Queen takes? knight g4. We have the family fork. So next we're gonna win the queen, and with the queen we win the game, because now we are a full bishop up. In case king takes, knight c4. Now we have a different family fork, this time from the square c4 instead of g4, but it does not change the main idea of this current puzzle. So e5 is a beautiful winning move. We saw already a couple of puzzles prior that idea like this does exist. So maybe it took you less time now to find the move e5. Quite a nice idea, very typical. As you can see, this happens quite frequently. So a useful thing to know. Georgi, one question to you. Do you think in case white would be a vegetarian, could he ever find the move e5?
No, no. It actually requires animal
To eat
instinct.
meat, no?
Yes, for sure.
I think
Because
so too.
you're really looking for it. No way, actually. That's why whoever is vegetarian probably will be looking at safer opportunities for the position what we have in front of us, like knight d5. No, knight d5 is too much. King f3 maybe, or something like that there. So guys, on the board, we don't care. We just go for it for the kill if it is necessary, regardless of which piece we are taking it. That was a good point, actually. I don't think they are capable of finding it. It's too anti, for sure. Actually,
Would be not easy. Okay, Georgi, next puzzle. Yeah, as well. The next position is quite nice. Yeah, very nice.
Here we go. And according to our rules, the first thing coming up will be Queen A6. Yes, congratulations, you gave a check and probably the most useless move in the entire game. But at least you did a check, which is kind of an achievement by itself, maybe. The king goes on b8, and there is no good follow-up. I'll tell you the follow-up. Queen f3, queen h1. Actually, that's the best follow-up what you're going to see in the game. Queen is standing alone. If we would magically put the knight on b5, maybe on the next move, if you play against someone which plays simultaneous exhibition, perhaps you can get away with it. But otherwise, it's not happening. So, what else do we do? Queen a6 is one option, no other checks. Then we look at captures. Queen h5 is extremely attractive. Like, doesn't even know how to beat you. Queen f2, queen h5, g takes, anything, you name it. So it doesn't work. How about some other captures do we have? Actually, we can try to take this bishop on d5, which looks quite good in the center and covers up a lot of key squares. But what happens next? If we grab it, black can take it back with the queen. And the fact that the queen and the king stands along the same diagonal is a very common tactical motive. So we go bishop g2, covering up this diagonal. If the queen takes, we are going to take it back. There is no good backup like rook f3, etc. Black loses the queen for the bishop, and at the end we end up with this material on the board, queen versus rook, which is easily winning for white.
Yes, quite a beautiful idea. So a bishop can be a very powerful piece on the long diagonal. This time, white thanks to bishop for the victory. Full queen for just a bishop. Very nice. Let's go with our puzzle number 49. What can we do here? Let's see. Once again, we're in an endgame. We have these powerful pieces here in the center, the both rooks. Can be very dangerous for black, especially that the last rank is now unprotected, so there is no little space where the black king could escape. That's why usually try to have some kind of this h6 or h3. So you give some little room, little space to your king, eventually not to get mated on the last rank. So, can we sacrifice something? Can we check somewhere? We can give a check, but it would be suicide. So, black just takes the rook, that's it. No, we don't want to do that. What else can we do here? And let's see. Can we take the bishop? Rook takes d7. Black takes, because otherwise black is just a full piece down. So Black has to take, and after rook d7, we make use out of the last rank. Rook e8, checkmate. King has no place to go. That's it. Game is done. So the beautiful idea, rook takes d7. We take out the defender, the only defender of the last rank. Black takes, rook e8, checkmate. Game is done. That's it. So, Georgi, the last puzzle of the current chapter, number 50.
Let's have a look. Well, like really wants to grab the knight on d5, but we have this sniper lasering down the king. And some magic should be happening along this line. Queen can also enter into the action from many different directions, so we kind of need to hurry up. According to our rules, we need to look at possible captures first and checks. So what checks do we have available? Bishop takes g7. There are some other moves probably, such as queen going on h6, which is an interesting approach. It can't be taken because the pawn is pinned, but there will be some moves like maybe f6 even, and covering up everything, and we don't have a good follow-up. So what else can we do? How about bishop takes g7? If you force the king to come out really far away, it definitely doesn't look bad at all. So if king takes there, then we have to go for queen g5 check. What happens next? Black needs to decide where the king goes. If the king goes on h8, we have got queen f6 check. And well, king g8 should be the only move. And now we really wish one of the rook to be there, because we can deliver mate immediately, but not so fast. We have some other opportunities as well. We can play knight e7 check, forcing the black to take it with the queen, otherwise it's going to be a mate. And we are grabbing the queen for 2 pieces, which is absolutely decisive. Therefore, white wins the game on the spot.
Very, very beautiful puzzle as our last puzzle for today. Actually, so nice. Bishop takes g7. Check, check. The job is done. Knight e7. Black has to give the queen. We take it back. The game is done. Very, very nice. Yeah. To win like that, it's just a pure joy. Cool combo. Cool combination. All right, Georgi. So we have solved all the 50 puzzles of the chapter. What do you think? Next time, should we give a bit more harder puzzles, or you think a bit
I actually
easier?
think so. Harder, maybe. Let's just check it out. It seems like our chat, but slightly harder ones, not too
Okay.
much. And I really want
Let's
to test
try.
it out because it felt like with this difficulty, we had a lot of people tuning in, and they also asked for something even harder, and within seconds they were killing it as well. We can give it a try. And let's see how they will respond. It's all up to you, ladies and gentlemen, how you'll be reacting on it.
Yeah, by the way, don't be shy. It would be good if the chat would be active. So ask questions that you have. In case we have a smart answer, we're gonna tell you. In case we have a stupid answer, still we're gonna tell you. So there are no bad questions. Otherwise, I think that's it for today. No, Georgi, we're gonna continue tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
We try to develop the channel with Georgi, so in case you can give us a like, share, etc., it would help a lot. We are not working for nobody, so we do it for ourselves. In the beginning, it takes so much time, so it would be great if you can give us some support. Yeah, and we hope you like the content. We try to give high-level chess content. We try to make you a better chess player. It's not like 100% entertainment. For that, we have the famous sadistic Tushi. There is nothing better than that. But this is a very little chess. So we try to focus more on chess to make you a better chess player. So thank you for watching. Thank you for appreciation. And yes, we hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you. Georgi,
All
your last word?
set. All set. Thank you everyone for being active in chat today. This is way better. and the streams are going to be way more lovely. That's all. That's it. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye bye.